All right, so they want us to find the intercepts, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Do you know what they're talking about? Let's start with the y-intercept. What is a y-intercept? Exactly. Yeah, can you see how high up is it? Looks like right there, doesn't it? Yeah, up at 5. That looks like up 5. That is the y-intercept. Yeah, because that's where it hits the y grid, huh? The vertical grid. That's where it hits the y grid. And then this point over here is where it hits the x grid, so that's the x-intercept. That's where it intersects the x-axis. So where it intersects the x and the y-axis, those are x and y-intercepts. Now, remember how every dot on a graph has 2 numbers associated with it? Actually has 2 numbers, a comma, parentheses, 2 numbers. So what would be the 2 numbers that make the 1 dot of the y-intercept? Like, remember the first number is how far over. The second number is like your up, down, positive, up, negative, down. The first is the x, in other words. The second is the y. Remember how that works? So what's the first, no, that dot, that y-intercept dot, how far over and how far up is it? It's over 0. Up 5, I mean from the middle, right? Like if you're in the middle, you go over 0, up 5, huh? Does that make sense? To locate that point. And then what about the x-intercept? What are the 2 numbers? That one's over. First number is over. It's x. Second one is up, down. It's y. It's over 4, up 0. Over 4, up 0. That's right. All right, good? That's what they want from you. They're going to ask you those 2 answers, and they want those 2 questions. They want those 2 answers. Easy enough. Called intercepts. Intercepts. We're going to graph lines by finding those 2 points. So notice something as we move on. Notice something about intercept points. They always have one of their coordinates being 0, don't they? Right? Intercept points, if you're a y-intercept, your x is 0. Notice, if you're an x-intercept, your y is 0. Does everybody see that? Because we're going to use that fact to help us graph in a second. So in other words, let's say it one more time. At a y-intercept, the x value is 0. The opposite letter is 0, huh? And at a x, this is x-intercept, the y is 0. Because at an x-intercept, you're up 0. Your y height is 0, huh? And at an y-intercept, right here, you're over 0. Your x-coordinate is 0. And that'll always be the case, huh? So, for example, if you have an equation, you have, let's say, I don't know, 2x plus 3y is 7 or whatever, you know, and you wanted to find an x-intercept, how would you find an x-intercept? You would make y 0, because at an x-intercept, y is always 0. And if you wanted to find a y-intercept, you would make x 0 in the equation, because at a y-intercept, x is always 0. Does that make sense? At intercept points, the opposite letter is 0, isn't it? The opposite letter is 0. So we'll use that to our advantage. All right. There we go. Try that one. Find the coordinates of the y-intercept and the coordinates of the x-intercept for the line displayed at the right. So try that one. Find the 2 intersection points and write. Remember, every dot has 2 numbers, right? So write the 2 numbers for each of the 2 intercept points. So this dot right here, what's his coordinates? Yeah, over 3, up 0. Good, and that's the, what is it? Is that one the x or the y-intercept? That's the x-intercept. And notice his y coordinate is 0. The opposite letter is 0. And now, let's do the other one. Let's do this one. So what's the coordinates of that one? Yeah, over 0, down 1. Yeah, first number's over. Second number's up or down. Huh? First number's x, second number's y. Yeah, so that one's over 0, down 1. Huh? Over 0, down 1. That's the y-intercept, who has an x coordinate 0, right? So the intercepts always have the opposite letter 0. Good? On all that? Easy enough? All right. So they're asking me for the x-intercept. So what's the x-intercept there? Yeah, it's right. It's right here. It's over 5, up 0. That is the x-intercept, because that's where it hits the x-axis. Good so far? So that'd be our first answer. The x-intercept is 5, 0, over 5, up 0. That two numbers make that one dot. Now, the next question is going to be, what is the y-intercept? Yeah, that is right. There is no y-intercept. Everybody see that? It doesn't hit the y-axis, does it? That line is perfectly straight up and down. It never touches the y-axis, so there's no y-intercept. Good? Multiple choice. Okay, so what I would encourage you to do is just on your own, just make an axis system here. And let's take the point 4, 0 first off. Can we put that on a graph? Go ahead and find the dot 4, 0. Two numbers make one dot, right? So starting from the middle, remember the first number is always x, and the second is y. The first number is over, second number is up or down. So over 4, up 0. So it's right there, isn't it? Good so far? Yes. So that's the x-intercept. Now, next, let's do this one. Can you put that one on the graph? First number's over, second number's up or down. So over 0, up 5. There it is. All right, and then finally we connect the two dots with a straight line. There it is. All right, so which of those, A, B, C, or D, is our answer? B it is. Good enough, so just take a couple intercept points, put them on the graph, and graph the line. Okay, so on this one, they're giving me an equation now. They're giving me an equation, x plus y equals 3. And they're saying plot the intercepts to graph the equation. In other words, they want me to find the two intercept points. In other words, the points where the graph hits the grid lines. Those 2 points, those 2 intercept points. And then once I have those 2 dots, I'll be able to connect them and get a straight line, get the graph. All right, so how do I find out? Oh, this is the first time we've done this. How do we take an equation, like x plus y equals 3, and find the grid line intersection points, the intercepts? Yeah, that's why I was building up all that stuff about 0. Remember that? Yeah, so I'm going to make a little table. I'm going to make a little XY table. But I'm not just going to put in anything I want like I did yesterday. Yesterday, I put in 0 and 1 just because they were the easiest numbers, right? But this time, I'm going to be focused on finding the intercept points. And if you're an intercept point, if you're on the grid line, that means either your x is 0 or your y is 0. So I'm going to put in 2 zeros, one for x, one for y, and solve for the other number that goes with the x0, what's y, and with the y0, what's x. Be two little equations to solve. So, what equation? Well, this equation. Our equation, huh? So take that equation and put in, take x plus y equals 3 and put in x is 0, and you get 0 plus y is 3. Which just means y is 3. There's nothing really to solve there, right? Because 0 plus y is just 0. We good with that? And now let's do it again. Let's do it again for the other one. Start again, x plus y is 3, and put in 0 this time for y. Get x plus 0 and 3, and x plus 0 again is just x. So x is 3. So that was like a kind of a simple one. They'll get more complex. So those are my two intercept points. Over 0, up 3. Start with that one, which is right here. And then the other one is over 3, up 0. Right there. See, there's over 3, up 0. Here's over 0, up 3. That makes sense how I did that? And then we just connect them with our straight line. And we got the graph. So we just took the little table, and I did I call it the double zero table, because that's what when they ask for intercepts, you do the double zeros. Everybody see why? Because at where it hits the grid lines, there's always one of the coordinates is 0. One of the two numbers is 0 whenever you're on a grid line, whenever you're an intercept point. So I make the double zero table. Now why today, again let me say that clearly, why today am I making the double zero table, and yesterday I did 0 and 1? Well, because yesterday they just said find any 2 points. They didn't care which two. I didn't have to specifically find the 2 grid line points like I do today. Today they're being more specific. They don't want any 2 points. They say, hey, give us these 2 in specific. Give us the 2 grid line points. So for that, yeah, I got to do the double zero thing, because those are what give me the grid line points. But I would have got if they hadn't been so specific, if they just said, hey, give us the picture, any which way you want, I could have just done 0 and 1 like we did yesterday. It would have been the same line. Let me show you real quick. If I would have put in 0 and 1, well, we already did 0. We know that comes out 3. If I put in 1, if I take the equation x plus y equals 3 and I put in 1 for x, can I solve that? I just want to show you it'd be the same line in the end. Can I solve that for y? What do I do to solve for y? Minus 1. It's going to be 2. Y. And then, so that means it's over 0, up 3. I already got that dot right here. And over 1, up 2. Look at that. There's that other dot right there. There's the 1 over 1, up 2 dot. See how those 2 dots would have made the exact same line as the 2 grid dots? So it's just 2 different ways to find a line, right? Yesterday they were saying find any 2 points. Today they're saying specifically find the grid points. So that's why I got to do the double zero when they ask for the grid points. Good. All we really need is 2 points, and we got our line. Isn't graphing easy? It's not too bad, right? They'll make the equations a little messier, but all right. Okay, x plus 2y equals 4. Let's try that one. Same kind of thing. X plus 2y is 4. They're saying use the intercepts to graph, meaning find the 2 grid line points. So go ahead and do that. Make an x, y table. Do the double zero thing. Move it down a little bit. So plug in 0 for x. And we get 2y equals 4. Good so far. How do we solve for y there? Divide by 2. You guys are equation solving machines now, as you proved by that last test. Y equals 2. Tell this math all build on. We practice equations, and now we use them in graphs, and just keep building, building, building. Over 0 up 2. There it is. There's one of the dots. Over 0 up 2. And then for the other one, we take the x plus 2y. We're going to run out of room here. X plus 2y is 4. Put in the 0 for y. Get x plus nothing is 4. So that's just x is 4, huh? Is that good on the second one? X plus nothing, that's just x. So x is 4. So that's over 4. First number's over, second number's up. Over 4 up 0. So there's the 2 grid line points, the intercepts. All right, and what do? We play connect the dots. There we go. There's the graph. Oh, and you know how to do it with the, here, let's go ahead and do it with the, let me show you with the actual line maker. But that's pretty easy to use, I think, but you'll do more of it today. Is everybody good to there before I flash off of that?
Yeah.
Is that good? How to find those 2 grid line points? And all right, so let's go. Is the pluses and minuses, well, all kinds of times, huh? Pluses and minuses can be a little tricky. So try that one. Same kind of process. X minus 4y is 8. So make an XY table there. Put a 0, put a 0. Double 0 table to find the grid points. So let's do that first one. So plug in 0 for x. 0 minus 4y equals 8. You can get rid of the 0. That's not doing anything. How do we solve that little equation right there for y? What do we do?
You divide 8 minus.
Yeah. We always divide by the identical twin, huh? Same sign, same everything. Both sides. Gonzo. So what is 8 over minus 4? Minus 2. Do y'all get minus 2 there? There we go. So then get the other one. So the other one. So put in 0 this time for y. That's x minus nothing is 8. So x is just 8, huh? So that one's 8, 0. Good. There's our 2 dots. So over 8 up 0. And then the other one is over 0 down 2, huh? And then connect the dots. Is that good?
Why is the first set of numbers not the x-axis?
Which, so you mean the 0 minus 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good question. So remember, the first number is always over. The second number is up, down. Right? The first is x, the second is y. So starting from the very middle, go over 0, down 2.
Oh, okay.
Is that right? Because the first number is over.
Right, okay.
So over 0, down 2 on that. Whereas the 8, the first number is over, so it's over 8, up 0
Okay.
on the second one. So it's always about remembering first number over, second number up, down. Julio.
So I can kind of just look at that and say, like, okay, it's -2, because that'll make it 8 or whatever.
Right.
Will there be a point where the numbers won't be as nice? Whole numbers?
Gotcha. Very good question. There's only going to be like real life. Yeah, real life. You build bridges and you do things. You use graphing. They're not nice. They're not like so clean.
Yeah.
This class, they're going to keep them pretty nice. Every now and then they'll give an ugly one. I'll let you know when they do. As you move up the line in the higher math classes, they'll get uglier.
Okay.
But they're just kind of keeping them because we're just getting going with this. They're keeping them kind of nice for now. Yeah, it's intentionally nice. Good. All right. There we go. So 9x minus 3y is 27. So double zero table again, right? So the double zero table. Plug in. Careful with all your signs. Okay, so we plug in, take that 9x minus 3y, it's 27. Plug in x0. And the one that's 0 just vanishes, right?
Yes.
So now I've got minus 3y equals 27. How do I solve for y? Divide by -3. The answer is -9. We good there? Bring that back. And then do it again. We do it again, this time putting 0 in for y. So 9x The 3 times 0 just vanishes because that's just 0. It's just gone. Solve for x, divide by 9, x is 3. Okay, so let's put these on the graph. Hey, notice our graph. Our graph's kind of a funny graph. It goes by 2s. They're going to start doing that to us sometimes because they need to get all the way out to bigger numbers. So, do you see how the graph goes by 2s? Do you know what I mean? See how this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? It's going by 2s instead of 1s, isn't it? Yeah. Same thing vertically, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So you got to be a little careful when you're putting your points on the graph. Make sure you get them in the right spot. So let's do this one first off. So that one's first number's over, right? So it's over 0, down 9. That negative 9, right? Over 0, down 9. Well, how'd you down 9? Well, it's between 8 and 10 right there.
Yeah, I got a question wrong because of that. I didn't notice it was going by 2s.
Yeah, it does that sometimes. Everybody see that? Over 0, down 9. It's halfway between the 8 and the 10. That good? Over 0, down 9. And then the second one, again, it's over and up, down. So it's over 3. How do you do over 3? Well, it's right there between 2 and 4. Over 3, up 0. Is that good? Just halfway between. And then connect the dots. We've got our line. Good there? So remember what that line is. It's a million points. It's a million. It's not just the first two we found. That line means a million different points, all of which make the original equation true if you plug in their x and y numbers, huh? That's what a graph is, a picture of all the points that make the equation true.
What's the little graphic on the left?
Oh, this right here? I don't know. That's just where I don't know if they want you to click there. I click there to make the graph bigger. Is that what you're asking? That's just their button. That's just the technology button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We good on that one? Good on finding those numbers and the positives and negatives and all that? Is that the one? Yeah. The numbers are going to come out decimals. All right. So let's try this one. So xy double 0 table. Equation is 2x minus 3y is 5. So plug 0 in for x. And that part's just gone. So the 0, x 0 just drops out. And so now we're trying to solve for y. So how do we solve for y there?
Divided by minus.
By minus 3, and we get y. Now, in your just use your calculator. 5 divided by minus 3, you're going to get minus 1.6666, huh? Right? So let's write that down, and we'll see if we can graph it. Okay, let's do the other point, though, first off. So the other one, put 0 in for y. Take the equation 2x minus 3y equals 5. Put in 0 for y. And then that part's just gone, so we just get 2x is 5. Everybody get to there? 3 times 0, the 0 part just drops out, says nothing. Divided by 2, and you get 2.5, huh? So bring that back. So we got a couple of decimals. Can we put those on the graph? No problem. We can do that, right? So remember, the first number is over. Second number is always up, down. So over 0, down 1.6, right? How do we do that? Well, just eyeball it. You know, on the test we take, what, Friday? Friday's test, it's just going to be multiple choice anyway. You'll just be grabbing the line that looks closest. So over, just eyeballing is good enough. Over 0, down 1.6, it's about like right there. Does that make sense? It's like 1.5, a little more than 1.5. See how I'm doing that? Over 0, down 1, but it's down between 1 and 2, isn't it? See that? And then the other one is over 2.5, so that's right there between 2 and 3. Over 2.5, up 0. Everybody good with those two dots? See how I'm coming up with those? And then we connect the dots with the straight line. So in the multiple choice test, you'll just be grabbing the line that looks like that. It'll be easy to tell. The lines will be going the other way. It's like the quiz this morning. They'll be pretty obvious to tell. So see how I just kind of estimated those decimals about where they're at? So over 0, down 1.66666, and over 2.5, up 0. So let's go put those on. All right, so let's just do this one really quick here. And because they changed the numbers on me, unfortunately, but I'll just do it quick. It's the same thing as last time. So XY chart, double 0 table, take 4x minus 3y is 14, put 0 in for x. So that's just 4 times 0 minus 3y is 14. So that's minus 3y is 14. Divide by minus 3. I'm going to get, what is that? Negative 4.666666. So there's the same kind of answer. Okay, and now let me do the other one. Put in 0 for y. Take the same equation. 4x minus 3y is 14. The 0 goes in for y. So 4x minus 3 times 0 is 14. Gonzo. 4x is 14. Divide by 4x is 3.5. 3.5. Bring that back, 3.5. So there's my two spots. Over 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. Up 0. Over 3.5, up 0. And over 0, down 4.6. And then connect the two. Okay, so that's that one, right? Same kind of thing. Let's go do it. Let me go do it on the, so 3.5 and down 4.6. So over 3.5, down 4.6. Okay. All right, so now it's kind of weird. It's weird when they change it and they only give you one letter. They're saying find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, then graph the thing. So that's kind of weird. You know what I think would be best? Let me help you. When there's only, so what's weird, first off, what's special? And this will be on the test as well on Friday. There's only one letter, right? So when there's only one letter, just graph first. So I'm going to just graph, before I answer any questions about x-intercepts and y-intercepts or points or whatever, let's just put it on the graph. Now, when I put it on the graph, it's kind of a sloppy axis there. When I put it on the graph, how do I do it? What do you do with x equals 4? Where's that go?
Go over 4 and draw it on the
Yeah, exactly. Remember, what kind of lines is it going to be?
vertical.
Yeah, it's not going to have any slant. Remember when you only have one letter, you're either perfectly vertical or perfectly sideways, no slant at all. Remember that? Perfectly straight up and down or straight sideways, no slant at all. So, well, okay, but which one? How do you know? Well, it's got x's for. So which one's the x-axis? This one. So go over to x is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes right through there. It goes right through x. Mine looks a little shaky. It goes right through x is 4. Does that make sense? Vertical line right through x is 4. Now the questions will be cake. What is the x-intercept? This point right here. This is where it hits the x-axis. Isn't this where it hits the x-axis right here? So that's over 4 up 0, isn't it? So that's that one. Okay. And the next question is going to be, what is the y-intercept? What is the y-intercept? None. Exactly. You can tell just by looking. It never touches the y-axis, does it? Here's the y-axis. It doesn't touch the thing because it's perfectly straight up and down, huh? And then we've already got the graph. So the graph answers all the questions. So my point is, when you've only got one letter, just, it's straight up and down or straight sideways, just put it on the graph, and the questions will be obvious. Is that good? Does that make sense?
This question also asks you to graph it.
Yeah, so there it is. As far as how you actually do with the 2 dots, just click any 2 dots on that vertical line. It doesn't matter which 2. It'll make the line. You want me to go back and do that one? I can show you. Okay, so there we go. X minus 5 equals 0. They want me to find, so again, notice we have only one letter, so just graph it. In other words, don't worry about answering all their silly little questions. Just graph it. But let me help. First, get x alone. So you got that little equation, x minus 5 is 0. The first thing you've got to do is get x alone. So how do I get x alone?
Add 5.
Add 5 to both sides. So x is 5. Does that make sense? That's the first thing. So because the other ones, they already gave us the x alone, huh? This one we had to get x alone ourselves. So get the x alone, and you know what to do from here, right? What's the graph going to look like? Yeah, over at 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's the x-axis, over 5, there it is, vertical line, over at 5, huh? Vertical line over at x is 5? So there we go. No y-intercept. Is that good? So everybody see what I did there? I took the equation, right here's the crucial part. I took the equation and I got the x alone. So the main thing is whenever they give you only one letter, x or y, you got to get it alone. Got to get it alone. All right. All right, there we go. So y plus 3 is 0. All right, see if you can graph that. So it's only got one letter, right? So you know it's going to be straight up and down or straight sideways. Alright, so what do we do first? Subtract the 3. So y is minus 3. And so then we go to the graph. Okay, this is the x-axis, the y-axis. So it's going to be a straight line. Where's it going through? Yeah, on the y, huh? Down 1, down 2, down 3. It's just like that, isn't it? Does that make sense? A straight line through y negative 3 rather than x, because it's y negative 3. So I always have some people on the exam that look at the original equation and they just see the plus 3. And they go, okay, it's y plus 3. They forget to solve for y. Does that make sense? Yeah, because otherwise, just because there's a plus 3 next to y doesn't mean that's what y equals. Remember, you got to find what y is, which means what y equals, which means getting y alone. Does that make sense? I think if I appeal to you more logically, it'll make sense. Than just tell you some trick. Always get y alone. Well, why? Well, because that's the only way you know what y is. Right? Only when y is alone do you know what y is. Right? Got to solve for y. So we got to know what y is before we can go to graphing y. What are you, y? Well, you got to get me alone, and then I'll tell you. Y is negative 3. Good on that? So if you remember that, I think the rest will fly. You'll have no trouble. You know, like, for example, what about the first question? What's the x-intercept? Here's the x-axis. What's the x-intercept? None. Doesn't touch the x-axis, does it? Right? None. And the y-intercept is right here, right? Isn't this where it hits the y-axis?
Yeah, 0 minus 3.
0, yeah, that's over 0 down 3, huh? That's right. And we got the graph, yeah. Good, good, good. All right. That's good. How we doing? We're at 7:15.